This truly just shows to this day how lost the Democratic Party is. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Just listen to that headline again. To learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class, Democrats are spending millions of dollars. That like contradicts itself. You're doing the exact opposite of what working class people would relate to. And the next sentence is even better. Party leaders are holding up in luxury hotel rooms on a strategy codenamed SAM, or speaking with American men, a strategic plan to try and convince working class to vote their way again. That's insane. Democrats have spent 20 million on their efforts with donors and strategists holding up in luxury hotel rooms. $20 million they have spent. They're spending, I don't even know what they're spending it on. $20 million they've spent to try to figure out how to talk to everyday working class American people. What? If you have to spend that much money as a party to try to figure out how to talk to a good chunk of America, then you are the most out of touch people on this planet. If you actually went out and talked to working class Americans, you would know what they want. But you don't. That's the issue. So now you're doing all this, like what, studying, looking up online, creeping on people, I guess. I don't even know what you're doing. It's crazy. The plan, codenamed Sam, promises to use funds to study the syntax and language content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. So it's not even about helping working class men. It's about tricking them. They're trying to learn what content gets the attention of American men. They're going to try and manipulate American men into voting for them. That's how like corrupt they are. That's crazy. They want to know what goes viral. It's insane. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisements in video games, among other things. It's like how out of touch can you be? So let's look into this. Okay. So the Democrats, instead of looking from within and seeing that maybe their message or their priorities aren't really connecting with the American people, they're going to try to spend millions of dollars to manipulate the hardworking American men to vote for them after they've demonized them for years. Let's look at some of their issues. So this is from the Democrats.org website. And this is where we stand on the issues. And it shows a big group of issues. So let's just go through these and see how much, one, these help American men, and how much, two, do American men actually care about these issues. Climate change. Oh, okay, let's talk about climate change. One, most Americans, most people in general think the whole climate change argument is blown out of proportion. And then now the Democrats are bashing Tesla, the biggest company that makes electric cars, contradicting their own point of view. So yeah, that's not a little believable. And wasn't let's talk about how this affects hardworking men. Wasn't one of the first things Biden did was stop the building of the Keystone Pipeline, which got rid of thousands of jobs that were hard-working American men were working on? Yeah, so they're probably not big on this. Let's look at Democratic accomplishments. But by the way, Democratic accomplishments and economy jobs, for some reason, are pretty much written the same. I don't know why. I don't know if the person just got like lazy, or maybe they just don't have as many accomplishments as they thought they did. Where did my screen go? Hold on one second. I don't know what happened to my screen. Okay, there we go. My bad. So they talk about how Democrats took on special interests on our lowering costs for American working families, making big corporations begin to pay their fair share in taxes. They can never tell you what they mean by fair share in taxes, but they want you to know that they're making these corporations pay them, which in reality, they're not, because these same people will still to this day say that Elon Musk doesn't pay his fair share. So how is that if Democrats took on these people? You know what I'm saying? How can they say they're making people pay their fair share if they're still also saying Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, all these people will avoid taxes? Contradicting, isn't it? So this is where it's very similar and misleading. Under Democratic leadership, the economy has created over 14 million jobs, including 800,000 American manufacturing jobs. And they say the same thing right here in the very next paragraph. Let me show you how that's misleading. So this is employment in manufacturing from January 2015 to April 2025. Let's look at the changes. So as you can see, oops, a little too far. Right here to the left is in the thousands. So right here, 2015, that's 12,200,000 manufacturing jobs. Okay. So if you look right about here, January 17, that's when Trump took office. You see it went up, 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 up. So in this time frame, Trump created about 400,000 or 500,000 manufacturing jobs. So they're saying Democrats created 800,000. Keep that in mind. So Donald Trump created 400,000 or 500,000. Then it peaked a little bit in 2019, and then the pandemic happened. Everything dipped. Biden became president here. This is where it's misleading. Almost all these 800,000 were just people getting their jobs back from states reopening. That's all it is. And they still use this data. It's been fact checked multiple times, and they still use this talking point. So if you want to match it to where Trump's total was at about, like 12.8, be like right here, Biden really only created maybe 100, 150,000 manufacturing jobs. Less than half of what Trump did. Because all of these were just give back jobs. Because blue states waited till Biden was elected to open their states back up. So it's insanely misleading. And they continue to use this talking point, which is a complete lie. So that's just two. Gas prices. This I thought was a joke. As we build a clean energy future, we're also ensuring families have access to affordable gas and energy. The Biden administration worked with oil producers to help reduce gas prices and is focused on expanding. No, he didn't. He did not at all. So let's look at gas prices. So gas prices, so around Trump, so Trump's right here, 2017, 2.3, 2.5. The highest it got to about 290. And then always 270, 260. Pretty low, right? Pretty good. So we still haven't seen that to this day. Biden gets in office right here. Up, 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 up. All the way up to $5 a gallon at one point. And then it came down. Still never went down to Trump's lows. It's still, even right here, this is 2024, it's still up to 360. That's a year ago from right now. Down, down, down. And then right here, and then it's about flatlined. Because it keeps fluctuating weird under Trump. Not sure why. It keeps dipping down, then it'll skyrocket back up. I'm not sure why. But it's pretty much flatline for right now anyway. So they're saying they got gas prices down when it went up under their watch. So they created a problem and then solved their own problem, which they didn't even really solve it. It's still not even down that far. So that's a complete lie. And what Biden did, he didn't talk to oil producers. He drained our oil reserve, almost all of it, to try to help keep gas prices down. That's supposed to be for emergency purposes. And he used it to try to make himself look better. Gun reform. I don't think most American hardworking men that like guns like gun laws. So I don't think this is going to help them. Healthcare. So this is an interesting one because I don't think most American hardworking men are on the Affordable Care Act. So that's this whole argument here is the Affordable Care Act. I don't think most hardworking American men are on it. So they would not care about that. Inflation. I thought this was a joke too. Like, really? So let's look at inflation. So Trump's presidency, around what, 1.9, 1.2, floated around 2 for the most part throughout his whole presidency. Pretty good. And then let's look at Biden's. Biden takes office. it just skyrockets. It gets up to 9% at one point. Comes down, still at 3, still at 3, still at 3, after being up at 9. And then even here, look, September, he's still in office. Look, it's starting to creep up again to January. And then all of a sudden, Trump takes office and it drops like a rock. Funny how that works out, huh? So they're saying they're doing this, they're tackling inflation. Yeah, what a joke. LGBTQ rights. I don't think most hardworking men care about this that much. This is kind of like a far left thing to make your whole personality about. Most people could care less about anything to do with that. Yeah, people are gay. Yeah, they can get married. Who cares? We don't need it thrown in our faces 24/7. Prescription drugs. What's funny about this is that his big thing was reducing the price of insulin, which Trump already had set up, and Biden put it on hold for a year and a half and then claimed it as his own, even though Trump already had it executive ordered. Biden canceled it out and tried to say it was his own. And what's funny too is Trump just made an executive order a few weeks ago about lowering drug costs for Americans. And no Democrats besides maybe Ro Khanna really spoke out about it. He's the only one that's like, yeah, let's sign this. Every other Democrat was like, nope, that's like their thing. And they didn't say, yeah, Trump, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do this. They're so anti-Trump that they didn't promote that idea because being anti-Trump is more important to them. And then they wonder why no one's voting for him. Protecting and strengthening our democracy. Let's talk about this one. Democrats are committed to defending democracy and protecting voting rights for all Americans. They have worked to pass legislation that expands access to the ballot box and ensures that elections are free and fair. So, yeah, so the big thing with voting rights is one thing the Republicans like is voter ID, and Democrats try to say it's racist, even though if you're an adult and you don't have an ID, you don't deserve to vote. I'm sorry. If you don't go and get an ID, you need an ID for almost anything in life. You need it to function. Like, why should you be, if you don't have an ID, you're clearly not functioning in society. So why should you be able to vote on what my tax dollars go to? You shouldn't. And it's funny because they say they're strengthening and protecting our democracy. They literally selected their candidate and did not let the people vote for the Democratic primary on who was going to be the candidate. They selected Kamala Harris and said, we know better than the people, the party that wants to protect democracy. And Bernie actually called them out for that like a week ago on the Flagrant podcast. Funny how that is. Reproductive rights. Most hardworking men, how does this affect them? You know, if you're a hardworking man, you probably want a family. So you want kids. So you're not going to support abortion. Right? Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Now, this is something that's very misleading. Trump doesn't want to touch this. The Democrats can scream, cry all they want. The budget cuts that are going to happen, like I think there's cuts. They're used as title 800. I think it's 800 million cut to Medicaid, which is like 80 million a year. Which one isn't that much? And two, you're telling me we spend like $1 billion on all this a year, and there's any kind of waste at all. I guarantee you, when they pass all this big beautiful bill stuff, that their benefits will stay the same. Nothing will be changed. You can still cut out the waste. There's still got to be waste in there. Very misleading. Student loan debt. Fun fact. Most working men don't have student loans. So I was trying to ask chat this data. So they says an estimated number of men who have student loans are 14 million. An estimated 86 million men work. So that's about 16%. So about 16% of all American men have student loan debt. So that means 84% don't. So why would they care about this? They won't. Taxes. This is funny. The Democrats try to act like they're the ones that want to help reduce tax for the middle class, but they never do at all. Never. So, and it's funny because Trump's trying to pass tax cuts. Like the tax cuts we're all experiencing right now are because of Donald Trump. The reason we have like more money in our pockets right now is because Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts that are still going on until the end of this year until they extend them. There's a reason that the Democrats didn't even try to overturn that when they had power. because they're good. And if Kamala Harris was elected, she would have let that expire, which all of us would be paying more in taxes. So yeah, so to put an example, I live in the Democrat-controlled Maryland. Democrats control everything. And one of the biggest things when Wes Moore took office is they immediately doubled our car registration fee that we have to pay every 2 years. How does that help the hardworking middle class? We now have to pay like $240 every 2 years for a sticker on our car. How does that help us? It was like $130. Yeah, they don't have any interest in helping reduce taxes, which is why I feel like conservatives. Veterans, another thing that's misleading. Republicans love conservatives. They're not attacking any of their benefits like the left is trying to say they are. So yeah, we can cut that argument out. Voting rights, similar to the protecting and strengthening our democracy. So they basically had this on there twice. They're trying to expand voting rights for all Americans. They don't even know what this means. They're just saying that Republicans are attacking voting rights and they're expanding it. What are they expanding on? What? You can, like, they're acting like, see, before 2020, everyone would go to vote. They would go stand in line. They would wait at certain voting sections, usually at schools. And you would vote. That's normal on voting day. Everyone did it, except with the exception if you have like a medical issue or if you're out of state, like you're a student. There were specific examples where you can mail in vote. But other than that, you had to be there in person. Then pandemic happened. Everyone mailed and voted. Now they're acting like that should be the norm and that no one can go stand in line to vote. Like, it's insane. You can go to vote. You can go stand in line to vote. Do it in person. You don't need these drop boxes. You don't need a month in advance to mail in a ballot. You don't need all these crazy things because that can lead to fraud. So yeah, so YouTube, I'm saying that can. I didn't say it is before you try to get me on something. So yeah, so everyone watching, after going through this whole list, do you guys see any reasons for hardworking American men to vote Democrat? Does any of this stuff seem appealing to Democrats? Because I didn't see anything that's appealing to me. And there's a reason I never vote Democrat. Even in my very liberal state, I don't vote for any of them. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments about the liberals' idea to reach out to hardworking American men. And maybe you could give them some advice in the comments down below too. What you guys think about all of this. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.